Welcome back, Coinology. Let's imagine you are holding a 2018 United States 1-cent coin in your hand.
It looks small, it feels lightweight, and at first glance it may seem just like any ordinary penny that's been rattling around in pocket change for years.
But today you're going to learn everything about this coin, its history, its physical properties, the story behind its design, how collectors see it, and whether some of these pennies are truly worth real money. The 2018 D penny is part of the modern Lincoln Shield cent series. This series began in 2010 and replaced older reverse designs with a stylized shield that represents strength and unity in the United States. On the front side, the obverse, you see the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, facing right. This portrait was originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, and variations of it have appeared on the 1-cent coin for over a century. Because of this long lineage, the Lincoln cent is one of the most iconic coins in American numismatics. It was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, and it was the first United States coin to feature a historical figure instead of a symbolic representation of liberty or freedom. Before that, earlier denominations almost always featured symbols rather than real people. The choice of Lincoln was deeply meaningful because of his place in American history. He led the country through the Civil War and is widely regarded as one of its most revered presidents. Now focus for a moment on the coin in your hand. Its weight is a critical detail. A standard 2018 D penny weighs approximately 2.5 grams. That weight comes from its copper-plated zinc construction. The United States Mint moved to this composition in 1982 due to rising copper prices. Pure copper coins from earlier years were heavier, but modern pennies contain a zinc core with a thin layer of copper plating, giving them the familiar copper color but a lighter feel. The diameter of the coin is about 19.05 millimeters, and it has a smooth edge, no ridges. These dimensions have stayed consistent for many decades, and collectors use them to confirm authenticity and to identify potential error coins. On the obverse side you see several inscriptions, starting with "In God We Trust" along the top rim, a motto that has appeared on U.S. coins since 1864. To the left of Lincoln's portrait is the word liberty, and beneath his chin is the date 2018. Underneath the date is a small D mint mark, indicating that this particular penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the United States Mint's facilities responsible for producing billions of coins each year. Turn the coin over and you will see the Union Shield, a design introduced in 2010. The shield represents the United States' unity and strength. It has 13 vertical stripes representing the original states, joined together by a horizontal bar symbolizing Congress. Above the shield is a banner inscribed with 1 cent, and around the rim are the words United States of America. At first glance, a 2018 D penny may seem like just pocket change, worth exactly 1 cent. For most of these coins still circulating in everyday life, that is absolutely true. An average circulated coin with wear is worth face value. But when you dig into the collector world, things get more interesting. Numismatists, people who study and collect coins, pay attention to condition, rarity, and especially errors and varieties. An uncirculated 2018 D penny that has never been spent and still shows full mint luster can be worth more than its face value, especially in mint state grades. Some coins graded by professional services at MS67 or higher can command more money than a worn example because the surface details are sharply struck and free of flaws. Even more fascinating are the error coins. These occur when something unusual happens during the minting process: a misaligned strike, a double die, or even a penny that was struck on the wrong metal planchet. These rare mistakes turn an everyday cent into a collectible. Some specific error varieties from 2018 D have been known to attract collector interest and buyers at auction for much more than typical pennies, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the error and how dramatic it is. But before we dive deep into the fascinating world of error values in the next section of our script, it's important to remember something fundamental about modern coin collecting. The vast majority of 2018 D pennies remain common and worth face value. There are billions of these coins in circulation, and most of them will only ever be worth a penny or two in a coin collection unless they have an unusual characteristic that makes them stand out. As we continue with part 2 in the next message, we will explore rare errors, collector grades, real auction sales, and why some coins are worth dramatically more than others. That's where the big money stories come in: the tales of rare finds, dramatic auction prices, and the secrets that make a small cent suddenly valuable. As we hold that 2018 D penny between our fingers, a question often rises: could this little piece of metal really be worth more than its face value? At first glance, it may seem unlikely. We see pennies every day,
we spend them without noticing them in our wallets and coin jars. But in the world of coin collecting, a coin's story is written not just by its date and mint mark, but by its condition, errors, and rarity. And for the 2018 D penny, much of the real collector value comes from errors and varieties that escaped the United States Mint's quality controls, mistakes that, once spotted and authenticated, can transform a common penny into something special that collectors will pay for. The heart of the matter is that most 2018 D pennies you handle every day are worth exactly what they say, 1 cent. These coins were struck in enormous numbers, with more than 4 billion produced at the Denver Mint alone in 2018, making them very common. Most circulated examples, coins that have been used, worn, dented, or scratched in everyday commerce, sell for only their face value or perhaps a few cents more in higher uncirculated grades. But when we shift our focus to coins that are unusual, misstruck, or have genuine minting mistakes, the story changes dramatically. These errors aren't just imperfections, they're historical accidents, tiny anomalies frozen in metal that tell a deeper story about how coins were made, how complicated the minting process can be, and how even modern machinery can make fascinating mistakes that collectors prize. Collectors refer to these as error coins, and they come in many types and levels of rarity. One of the most sought-after categories among modern Lincoln pennies is a doubled die error. A doubled die happens not because the coin was struck twice by accident, but because the die itself was created incorrectly. The hub used to impress the design into the die was impressed more than once at slightly different angles during die production. The result is that every coin struck from that die will show duplication in the design elements, letters, dates, or inscriptions that look thicker, shadowed, or ghosted as if they were stamped twice. Doubled die varieties are prized because they represent something inherent to the die, something that wasn't meant to happen. On 2018 cents, doubled die errors can appear in the motto, "In God We Trust," the word liberty, or the date itself. When these doubling features are strong and clear, collectors pay close attention, and values can rise significantly above face value. Minor doubled die examples might sell for a few $10 range, while dramatic, well-preserved examples, especially in uncirculated condition, can attract prices of $50 or more, and rare instances have even sold for a few $100s in auction settings when authenticated. Some numismatists describe certain dramatic doubled die finds from 2018 as the final true treasures of the modern Shield series. These coins may look ordinary at first, but under magnification they show layers of doubling that gleam under light. The idea of a die that was flawed at the origin and past that flawed hundreds of coins creates a narrative that many collectors find compelling, a story frozen in metal that only the keen eye can interpret. Another error type that can add value to a 2018 D penny is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchet isn't centered correctly between the dies at the moment of striking. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing. A blank crescent of metal shows where the design should have extended, creating a striking visual effect. These coins are instantly recognizable because part of Lincoln's profile or part of the shield design will be visibly cut off. Off-center coins vary widely in value depending on how far off the strike is. Minor misalignments might only add modest premiums of a few dollars, but coins that are dramatically off-center while still showing key features like the date can sell for tens or even over $100 in collector markets, especially when preserved in a high grade with crisp surfaces and minimal wear. Closely related are die cracks and cut errors. A die crack occurs when the steel die used to strike coins develops a fissure. On the resulting coins, this appears as a raised line or bump where metal flows into the gap. Larger die breakages can lead to a cud, or a piece of the die breaks away entirely and the coin shows a missing segment of design. These errors are sometimes subtle and at other times dramatic, and collectors will pay premiums depending on the size, location, and visibility of the error. Smaller die chips might only be worth a handful of dollars, while more dramatic examples can fetch considerably more as part of an error collection. Another fascinating category is strike-through errors, situations where grease, debris, or foreign material gets between the die and the planchet at the moment of striking. This can result in areas of the coin where details are missing or blurred, indicating something obstructed the normal flow of die pressure. These coins can have unusual, soft patches where design elements should be crisp, and serious collectors recognize these as tangible evidence of production oddities. Depending on the type and extent of the strike-through, these coins can range from modest premiums to significant collector interest. Then there's the die clash error. This occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between. The result is a ghostly imprint of one side's design onto the other, a contact pattern that shows faint signs of the shield on Lincoln's portrait or a trace of Lincoln's profile on the reverse shield. Die clashes are fascinating because they show the raw power and precision, and occasionally the unintended consequences, of minting machinery. Collectors love these because few everyday coins show such direct evidence of what can go wrong in the minting process. Values vary with how dramatic the clash is, but some have been known to command higher auction prices when authenticated and graded. Some collectors also look for broad strike errors, coins struck without being properly confined by the collar that controls their diameter. These coins can appear slightly larger or distorted and will show telltale differences in thickness across the surface. Those that are dramatic and well preserved can attract attention. Too, all of these error types show one thing clearly: condition matters enormously. A coin with a fascinating error but heavy wear is less valuable than one with the same error but uncirculated surfaces and minimal marks. That's why professional grading services like PCGS and NGC exist, to authenticate and grade coins so buyers and sellers can agree on quality and value. In fact, the same 2018 D penny error type might be worth only a few dollars in a worn grade, but in an uncirculated, certified grade it can be worth tens or even hundreds of dollars to the right collector or investor. For example, records from collector marketplaces show that high-grade certified 2018 D pennies in near-perfect MS69 condition with no notable error but simply exceptional preservation have sold for thousands of dollars in some listings, though these are extremely rare and often depend on the specific grading service and market demand at the time. As we continue this journey into the world of the 2018 D penny, it's time to move deeper into the heart of what truly separates an ordinary 1-cent coin from a collectible treasure. We've talked about minting errors and unusual varieties, but now we need to understand something even more powerful in the coin market: grading, authentication, population reports, and how the professional coin market determines what is truly valuable and what is simply pocket change. When collectors talk about a coin being worth serious money, they are almost always referring to its certified grade. Grading is the process of evaluating a coin's condition based on surface preservation, strike quality, luster, eye appeal, and the number of contact marks or imperfections. In the United States, the most widely respected grading companies are Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company. These companies examine coins under magnification, assign them a grade on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, and seal them in protective holders with certification numbers. The Sheldon grading scale is essential to understanding modern coin values. A heavily worn coin might grade very good or fine, while a coin with moderate wear might be extremely fine. But when we move into mint state grades, abbreviated as MS, the numbers begin at MS60 and climb to MS70. A coin graded MS60 is uncirculated but may have many marks or weak eye appeal. As you move upward, MS63, MS65, MS67, the coin becomes cleaner, sharper, and more visually appealing. When you reach MS69 or MS70, you are entering extremely rare territory for modern circulation coins. Now here is where things become interesting for the 2018 D penny. Because billions were produced, most examples that circulated will never reach high mint state grades. They've been dropped, scraped, stacked in bankrolls, and handled by countless people. But coins that were carefully saved from circulation, perhaps pulled directly from mint rolls and preserved properly, can sometimes achieve very high grades if they are nearly flawless. A 2018 D penny graded MS65 might only sell for a modest premium, perhaps a few dollars, because many examples exist in that grade. But when you start talking about MS67 or higher, the population drops dramatically. Population reports published by grading companies show exactly how many coins have been certified at each grade level. If only a handful of coins exist in MS68 or MS69 condition, the rarity of that grade alone can create strong collector demand. This is where you sometimes see headlines claiming a modern penny sold for thousands of dollars. It isn't because the coin itself is rare in general, it's because that specific coin in that extremely high grade is rare. Condition rarity can be just as powerful as mintage rarity. Let's imagine a scenario. A collector submits a 2018 D penny that appears nearly perfect. Under magnification, the grading experts examine the fields, the flat areas of the coin, for microscopic scratches. They examine Lincoln's cheek and jawline, areas where contact marks are most visible. They inspect the reverse shield for sharpness and the vertical lines in banner lettering. If almost no flaws are visible even at high magnification, the coin may achieve MS68 or even MS69. If it is certified at that level and only a few other coins share that grade, collectors competing for registry sets may bid aggressively for it. Registry sets are another powerful driver of modern coin prices. Both PCGS and NGC allow collectors to build competitive online collections where they aim to assemble the highest graded examples of each date and mint mark. The higher the grade, the more points the coin earns in the registry. This competitive element pushes collectors to seek the very best known examples, and sometimes pay extraordinary amounts for them. Now let's talk about authentication of errors. If you believe you have found a doubled die 2018 D penny, you cannot simply assume it is valuable. Many forms of doubling are not true doubled dies but rather machine doubling, a mechanical effect during striking that creates a flat, shelf-like appearance rather than true separation. Machine doubling generally does not carry significant premium value. True doubled die errors show distinct, rounded, separated images in the lettering or numbers. This is why authentication matters. When a grading service verifies a coin as a genuine doubled die variety, that confirmation dramatically increases buyer confidence.
The coin is no longer just someone's claim, it is certified documentation of a real mint error.
That certification often determines whether a coin sells for $20 or $200. Another factor affecting value is eye appeal. Two coins may share the same grade, but one may have vibrant original mint luster, attractive copper coloration, and strong strike detail, while the other may appear dull or spotted. Collectors consistently pay more for coins that are visually appealing, even if technically the grade is the same. Color designation also plays a role in modern Lincoln cents. Copper-plated zinc cents are often classified as red, RD, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN. A full red example, showing bright original mint color, generally commands higher premiums than one that is toned to brown. For a 2018 D penny, retaining full red color in high mint state can significantly increase desirability. Let's address something important and realistic. Claims of a 2018 D penny being worth $99,000 million are not supported by actual numismatic market data. Modern pennies do not reach billion-dollar values. However, certain rare error coins, experimental strikes, or unique mint mistakes in American history have reached five-figure or even six-figure levels, though these are extraordinarily rare and typically involve older coins or historically significant minting anomalies. For the 2018 D penny, realistic high-end market results typically involve certified high-grade examples or dramatic, authenticated errors. These may reach hundreds or in rare cases thousands of dollars depending on demand, grade, and rarity of the error. But the vast majority of examples remain face value coins. That said, the thrill of searching remains powerful. Many collectors enjoy coin roll hunting, purchasing bank rolls of pennies and carefully examining each coin under magnification. They search for doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and other varieties. While most searches yield only common coins, occasionally someone discovers a genuine error that pays for the entire hunt many times over. There is also a broader economic discussion surrounding the modern penny. The cost of producing a 1-cent coin has exceeded its face value for years, leading to debates about whether the United States should discontinue the denomination. Yet collectors continue to search them, preserve them, and study them, knowing that even common coins can tell stories about production methods, national symbols, and economic change. The 2018 D penny represents a continuation of over a century of Lincoln cent history. It carries forward the portrait first introduced in 1909, linking modern Americans to generations past. While most examples are simple circulating coins, a tiny fraction carry minting anomalies or extraordinary preservation that elevate them beyond ordinary change, and that is the essence of coin collecting, understanding that value is not just about metal content, but about rarity, condition, demand, and story. The same coin that one person tosses aside without a glance may be the very coin another collector treasures because of a subtle doubling in a letter or a nearly invisible die crack. As we move forward into the next part, we can explore deeper into real auction records, step-by-step instructions on how to examine your own 2018 D pennies at home, the tools collectors use for magnification and preservation, and how to avoid common mistakes when selling or submitting coins for grading. If you're ready, I'll continue with part 4 and expand even further into advanced collector strategies, real market psychology, and detailed evaluation techniques. Now imagine you are sitting at a table with a small pile of 2018 D pennies spread out in front of you. A magnifying glass rests in your hand. A bright desk lamp shines directly onto the surface of each coin. This is where the real journey begins, not in headlines, not in exaggerated claims, but in the careful, patient examination that separates casual curiosity from serious coin hunting. The first thing experienced collectors do when examining a 2018 D penny is check the overall surface condition. they slowly rotate the coin under a strong light source. Mint luster, that original cartwheel shine created during the striking process, should move smoothly across the surface.
If the coin still has strong, undisturbed luster, that's the first positive sign.
If the surface looks dull, spotted, or scratched, the great potential drops immediately. Next comes inspection of the high points. On the obverse, Lincoln's cheekbone and jawline are the most sensitive areas.
Even tiny contact marks show clearly here.
On the reverse, the upper lines of the shield and the banner with the words 1 cent reveal how strong the strike was.
Weak strikes reduce eye appeal.
Strong, sharp lines increase desirability, then comes the hunt for errors. A serious collector doesn't just glance at the coin, they study the lettering carefully.
In God We Trust must be checked letter by letter.
Liberty must be examined for split serifs or extra thickness. The date 2018 and the small d mint mark beneath it should be viewed under at least 5x to 10x magnification. True double die errors show rounded, separated images, not flat mechanical smearing. Lighting is extremely important.
Many errors are invisible under poor lighting but become obvious when angled light hits the surface. Some collectors even use digital microscopes to photograph and enlarge small details.
When enlarged on a screen, even subtle anomalies can become clear. Another powerful strategy is comparison. Place several 2018D pennies side by side. Compare the thickness of letters, spacing, and sharpness.
If one coin looks noticeably different from the rest, that's when curiosity should increase.
Variety identification often depends on recognizing something that stands out from the norm. Now let's talk about preservation. Suppose you actually find a promising 2018D penny. Maybe it looks uncirculated and flawless, or maybe you believe you've spotted doubling.
The worst thing you can do is clean it. Cleaning a coin destroys its natural surface and dramatically reduces value.
Even wiping it gently can leave hairline scratches visible under magnification. Instead, the coin should be placed in a non-PVC holder, such as a mylar flip or archival quality capsule.
Moisture and air exposure should be minimized.
Modern copper-plated zinc cents are especially vulnerable to corrosion if the plating is damaged. Proper storage can mean the difference between a future high-grade coin and a spotted, discolored one. If you believe the coin is truly special, the next step is submission for grading.
Submission requires careful packaging, documentation, and fees.
Not every coin is worth submitting. Grading fees can exceed the coin's value if the coin isn't rare or high grade. That's why experienced collectors evaluate realistically before sending coins to certification companies. Now let's explore the psychology of the coin market. Why would someone pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for a 2018D penny in near perfect condition? The answer lies in competition and scarcity at the highest grade levels. Modern coins are produced in huge numbers, but perfection is rare. When collectors compete for the finest known example, prices can rise quickly. Auction dynamics also play a role. When two determined bidders both want the same top population coin, emotion can enter the equation. Competitive bidding can push prices above typical market estimates. This doesn't mean every similar coin will sell for the same amount, it means timing and demand matter. It's also important to understand that asking prices online are not the same as sold prices. You may see listings claiming extreme values, but actual completed sales provide the real evidence of market value. Smart collectors study auction archives, not just advertisements. Now consider the broader context of the Lincoln Cent series. The 2018D penny is part of a design lineage that stretches back to 1909. Over the decades, the reverse design changed from wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, then to the 4 bicentennial designs in 2009, and finally to the Union Shield beginning in 2010. Each design era has its own collectible highlights, but modern shield cents are still young in the collecting world.
Their long-term numismatic future is still unfolding. Another important concept is mintage versus survival rate. While billions of 2018D pennies were struck, how many will survive in pristine condition decades from now?
Most will circulate heavily, corrode, or be lost. Truly high-grade preserved examples may become scarcer over time. That doesn't automatically mean huge prices, but it does create a potential long-term collecting niche. Roll searching remains one of the most accessible entry points for new collectors. A box of pennies from the bank contains 50 rolls, each with 50 coins. That's 2,500 pennies to examine.
The cost is minimal, and the educational experience is valuable.
Even if you don't find a rare error, you gain knowledge and sharpen your eye. Let's also talk about realistic expectations. The overwhelming majority of 2018 pennies will never be worth more than a few cents.
The excitement of coin collecting must be balanced with patience and factual understanding. Not every coin is a hidden fortune.
But the rare discoveries, the dramatic off-center strikes, the confirmed doubled dies, the flawless MS-68 examples, these are what keep collectors searching. There's also a historical appreciation element.
Every 2018 penny carries the image of Abraham Lincoln, a figure tied deeply to American identity. The shield on the reverse symbolizes unity.
Even common coins are small pieces of national symbolism. Collecting them connects people to history, economics, and craftsmanship. If we imagine the future, decades from now, collectors may look back at early shield cents as the beginning of a new chapter in Lincoln cent history.
Perhaps certain varieties will become better known. Perhaps population reports will shift as more coins are graded.
The market evolves constantly. In the end, the real value of a 2018 penny depends on three pillars: condition, rarity of any error, and demand at the time of sale.
Without those factors aligning, it remains a 1-cent coin.
But when those factors do align, even a modern penny can command surprising premiums, and this is only part of the story. In the next continuation, we can go even deeper, exploring detailed case examples of high-grade sales, advanced error diagnostics, step-by-step submission strategies, long-term investment perspective, and expert-level analysis techniques that serious collectors use.
Now let's go even deeper into the advanced world of serious coin evaluation, because this is where the difference between a casual collector and a professional-level numismatist truly begins to show. When we talk about extracting maximum value from a 2018 penny, we are no longer just looking at it with curiosity, we are analyzing it with discipline, structure, and long-term strategy. One of the most important advanced concepts is population data analysis. When a coin is graded and certified, it becomes part of an official population report. These reports show exactly how many coins of that specific date and mint mark have been graded at each level. If thousands of 2018 pennies exist in MS-65, that grade will not command strong premiums. But if only a tiny number exist in MS-68 or higher, scarcity at that level becomes meaningful. Serious collectors monitor population reports regularly. Why? Because numbers change.
If today there are only 5 coins graded MS-68, that may create strong demand. But if next year 50 more are discovered and submitted, the rarity disappears. Understanding this dynamic helps collectors avoid overpaying during temporary hype. Another advanced factor is strike quality variation. Even within the same mintage year, strike pressure can vary.
Some 2018 pennies show exceptionally crisp shield lines and razor-sharp lettering.
Others appear slightly softer.
The sharpest strikes are often preferred by collectors, especially in high grades.
Subtle differences can influence price more than beginners realize. Now let's discuss copper plating integrity.
Since modern pennies are copper-plated zinc, they can suffer from plating bubbles, tiny blisters, or surface irregularities. These flaws may occur during production and can limit the maximum achievable grade.
A coin that looks perfect at first glance may reveal microscopic plating disturbances under magnification, preventing it from reaching top-tier certification levels. Advanced collectors also study die state progression. As dies are used repeatedly, they wear down.
Early die state coins often show stronger details and fewer die cracks. Later die state coins may show flow lines, minor cracks, or fatigue indicators.
Some specialists actually prefer early die state examples because they represent the freshest strikes from newly prepared dies. Let's move into the world of market timing. Coin markets, like all collectibles markets, move in cycles. Demand for modern coins can rise sharply during periods when registry competition intensifies. When more collectors enter the hobby, competition increases.
But during quieter economic periods, prices can soften. Understanding these cycles helps sellers decide when to list a certified coin for maximum return. Auction venue selection is also strategic. Selling a high-grade 2018 penny in a general online marketplace may not bring the same result as offering it through a specialized numismatic auction house. Targeted audiences matter.
Serious buyers watch specific platforms, and visibility can directly affect final hammer price. Now imagine you discover what appears to be a dramatic doubled die 2018 penny. Before submitting it for grading, an advanced collector would compare it against known variety listings.
Not all doubling is equal.
Some may already be documented minor varieties.
Others may be new discoveries. If you suspect a new variety, professional attribution becomes essential.
A newly discovered variety can temporarily command excitement-driven premiums. Photography plays a critical role at this level.
High-resolution macro photography allows collectors to present their coin professionally.
Clear images of doubling, die cracks, or pristine surfaces build buyer confidence. Poor photographs can hide value. In online sales especially, strong imaging directly influences bidding activity. Let's talk about long-term holding strategy.
Is a 2018 D penny a strong investment? For most examples, no. The vast majority will remain common. However, exceptionally high-grade certified coins or dramatic authenticated errors may hold niche long-term appeal. The key word is exceptional. Ordinary coins rarely outperform inflation. Diversification is another professional concept.
Experienced collectors rarely put significant capital into a single modern issue. Instead, they diversify across series, eras, and metal compositions. The 2018 D penny might represent a small portion of a broader Lincoln cent collection that includes key dates, earlier wheat cents, or transitional metal varieties. Now let's examine risk.
Submitting coins for grading involves fees, shipping costs, insurance, and waiting time.
If a coin fails to achieve the expected grade, resale value may not cover expenses.
That's why careful pre-screening is essential.
Many advanced collectors learn grading skills deeply before spending money on certification. There's also the emotional discipline factor.
When someone believes they've found a rare coin, excitement can cloud judgment. Objective evaluation is critical.
Comparing your coin to certified high-grade examples helps ground expectations.
The market rewards accuracy, not optimism. Another element rarely discussed is liquidity. Even if a coin is technically valuable, how quickly can it be sold?
Highly specialized modern errors may require waiting for the right buyer. Broader demand coins tend to sell faster. Liquidity matters for anyone viewing coins as assets rather than pure collectibles. Now let's imagine an ideal scenario. You find a nearly flawless 2018 D penny with blazing red luster, no visible contact marks, razor-sharp strike, and perfect eye appeal.
After professional grading, it receives an MS69 red designation. Population reports show very few examples at this level. A registry collector seeking top position needs this coin. Competitive bidding begins. The price climbs.
In such rare scenarios, modern coins can achieve surprising results, but let's balance that with reality again.
Such outcomes are rare.
Most uncirculated rolls will produce coins in the MS63 to MS66 range.
Attractive, yes. Profitable at scale, unlikely.
Knowledge and selectivity are what separate success from disappointment. Another advanced topic is counterfeit awareness. While it may seem unlikely for modern pennies, altered mint marks, fabricated errors, or manipulated coins do exist.
Buyers must be cautious.
Certification from respected grading services significantly reduces this risk. We also need to consider the broader debate surrounding the future of the penny itself.
Production costs have exceeded face value for years.
If the United States ever eliminates the 1-cent coin, modern issues like the 2018 D could take on historical significance as part of the final decades of penny production. That possibility adds an interesting long-term speculative angle, though not a guaranteed one. Education remains the most valuable investment. Studying grading guides, reviewing auction archives, and examining certified examples in person at coin shows dramatically improves evaluation skills.
The more coins you study, the sharper your eye becomes. Ultimately, the 2018 D penny represents something fascinating about numismatics. Even the smallest denomination can carry layers of complexity.
Metal composition, minting technology, die preparation, strike pressure, market psychology, certification systems, and collector competition all intersect in one tiny coin, and that is why people continue to search rolls, study surfaces under magnification, and submit coins for grading, because every so often, amid billions of ordinary pieces, something extraordinary appears. Now we move into one of the most practical and powerful sections of this entire journey: what actually happens when you try to turn a 2018 D penny into real money.
This is where theory meets reality. This is where collectors either make smart, informed decisions or costly mistakes. Because finding a coin is only the beginning. Knowing what to do next is what truly determines success. Imagine you've just discovered what looks like a strong double-die 2018 D penny. You've compared it carefully with other coins. The lettering in Liberty shows clear separation. The date appears slightly doubled. Under magnification, the doubling looks rounded, not flat. Your excitement rises. But instead of rushing to list it for sale with a massive price tag, the disciplined approach begins. First, you verify. You compare your coin against documented examples from trusted numismatic resources. You analyze whether the doubling matches known die markers, tiny scratches, die chips, or alignment traits that appear consistently on authenticated examples. If your coin matches those markers, confidence increases. If not, further expert opinion may be required. Second, you evaluate condition honestly. Is the coin circulated? Are there visible contact marks? Has the surface been damaged or cleaned in the past? Even a rare error can lose much of its value if the condition is compromised. A circulated double die may sell for far less than an uncirculated example of the same variety. Now comes the decision: sell raw, or submit for grading. Selling raw, meaning uncertified, may save grading fees, but it reduces buyer confidence. Experienced collectors often hesitate to pay strong premiums for raw modern coins because of the risk of misidentification. On the other hand, certification adds legitimacy. A slabbed coin from a respected grading service becomes easier to market and often commands higher final prices. Let's walk through a realistic selling scenario. You decide to submit your coin for grading. You pay the grading fee, shipping, and insurance. Weeks later, the coin returns in a sealed holder, labeled as a genuine double die, graded MS66 red. Now you have a verified, high-grade error coin. The next step is choosing your sales platform. A major numismatic auction house may charge seller fees but provides access to serious bidders. An online marketplace offers flexibility but requires strong photography and detailed description. A coin show allows face-to-face negotiation but depends heavily on finding the right buyer at the right time. Let's imagine you choose auction. Bidding opens modestly. Early watchers add the coin to their lists. As the auction closes, two registry collectors compete. The price rises steadily. The final hammer lands significantly higher than your original expectations. After fees, you calculate your net profit. Subtract grading costs and shipping. What remains is your true gain. Now consider another scenario. You submit a coin expecting MS68, but it returns graded MS65. That lower grade significantly reduces market value. Suddenly, your grading fee consumes most of the resale potential. This is why realistic pre-grading assessment is critical. Professional sellers often pre-screen dozens or even hundreds of coins before submitting only the very best candidates. Volume and selectivity increase the odds of success. Submitting every shiny coin is not a strategy, it's gambling. Now let's talk about error case studies. Case study 1, off-center strike. A collector discovers a 2018 D penny struck approximately 20% off-center, with the date fully visible. The coin is uncirculated with strong red color. After authentication and grading, it sells for several $100s due to its dramatic visual appeal and strong condition. Case study 2, minor die crack. Another collector finds a small die crack running through the shield lines. The crack is subtle and common among late die state coins. Though interesting, it commands only a modest premium of a few dollars. Case study 3, near perfect registry coin. A roll hunter submits multiple pristine 2018 D pennies. One receives an MS69 red designation. Population data shows very few at that grade. The coin sells to a competitive registry participant for a strong four-figure price. Extremely rare, but documented in modern coin markets when perfection meets competition. These examples demonstrate an important principle: magnitude matters. Dramatic errors or extreme grades drive the strongest results. Minor anomalies produce minor premiums. Now let's discuss long-term holding versus flipping. If flipping means selling shortly after grading to capitalize on immediate demand. Holding means preserving the coin for years, anticipating future collector interest. Which is better?
It depends on market conditions, population growth, and personal financial goals. Modern coins sometimes experience early hype when new varieties are discovered.
Prices may spike temporarily, then stabilize as more examples surface.
Strategic timing can make a substantial difference in realized profit. Another crucial concept is documentation.
Keep records of purchase price, grading fees, certification numbers, and sale prices. Professional level collecting involves bookkeeping. Knowing your exact profit or loss ensures you learn from each transaction. Let's zoom out even further. How does the 2018 D penny compare to classic key dates in the Lincoln Cent series?
Historic rarities like early 20th century key dates have established track records spanning decades.
Modern issues are newer and less proven as long-term stores of value.
This doesn't make them unworthy, but it does place them in a different risk category. Modern error specialists often focus deeply on narrow niches. Instead of chasing every new coin, they master a specific segment, such as shield cent doubled dies.
Specialization builds expertise, and expertise builds advantage. Now imagine decades into the future.
The penny is discontinued.
Collectors look back at late-era issues with renewed interest. Condition rarity becomes more visible as fewer pristine examples survive.
In such a scenario, high-grade certified examples could gain historical relevance. But again, this is speculative, not guaranteed. One more advanced layer involves networking.
Experienced collectors attend coin shows, join numismatic forums, and build relationships with dealers. Information flows through networks.
Early knowledge of newly discovered varieties can create opportunity before markets adjust. Finally, let's address the emotional side of the journey. Searching through pennies teaches patience.
It sharpens observation skills. It trains discipline. Most searches yield nothing extraordinary, and that's part of the process.
The rare success stories are built on consistent effort. The 2018 D penny, at face value, is 1 cent. But within that 1 cent exists a world of metallurgy, machinery, history, economics, psychology, competition, and possibility. For most people, it will remain small change. For a tiny fraction of coins, those with rare errors or nearly flawless preservation, it can become something far more intriguing, and we are still not finished. Now we enter the final stretch of this deep exploration, and this is where everything connects: the history, the grading science, the market psychology, the dream of hidden treasure, and the realistic financial outcome.
Because when people search for a 2018 D penny worth massive money, what they are really searching for is possibility.
The possibility that something small and ordinary could become extraordinary. Let's begin with a microscopic comparison between high mint state grades, because this is where modern coin value differences become almost invisible to the untrained. UIE.AN MS67 2018 D penny is already an exceptional coin. At this level, the luster is strong, the strike is sharp, and only a few tiny contact marks may be visible under magnification.
The fields appear clean, Lincoln's cheek shows minimal disturbance, and the reverse shield lines are crisp. To most people, it looks perfect. Now compare that to an MS68.
The difference becomes incredibly subtle.
The number of marks must be even fewer. Eye appeal must be slightly superior. Luster must be uninterrupted and vibrant. The coin must look almost flawless even under 5x to 10x magnification.
The jump from MS67 to MS68 may increase value significantly because far fewer coins qualify. Now step into MS69 territory. At this level, imperfections are nearly non-existent.
Even microscopic flaws are almost absent.
The coin appears virtually pristine. Under bright light, the cartwheel luster rotates smoothly without interruption.
The copper red color is vibrant and original.
Only the tiniest mint-made imperfection may prevent it from being a perfect MS70. That jump from MS68 to MS69 can sometimes create exponential price differences, not because the metal is different, not because the design changed, but because perfection is rare.
Billions of coins are struck.
Almost none are flawless, and that is where the psychology intensifies. Registry collectors compete for the highest graded examples. If a population report shows only a handful of MS69 2018 D pennies, demand can concentrate on those few pieces. Two determined collectors who both want the top registry ranking may push a coin's auction price dramatically higher than average market estimates, but let's ground this again in reality. Even at the highest known grades, modern pennies do not reach billion-dollar levels. Claims of a $99,000 million penny are purely fictional and not supported by any legitimate numismatic sale in history. However, four-figure prices for elite modern coins have occurred under the right combination of rarity, grade, and competition. Now let's explore the extreme hypothetical scenario people love to imagine. Imagine discovering a previously unknown, dramatic double-die 2018 D penny, one with bold, unmistakable separation across multiple design elements. It is uncirculated, blazing red, nearly flawless.
You submit it. It grades MS68 red and is attributed as a new major double-die variety. Population, 1. Now the coin is unique in certified holders. News spreads within the numismatic community. Specialists analyze the photos. Registry collectors realize that owning this coin would make their collection unmatched. Auction day arrives. Bidding climbs. Excitement builds. The final hammer falls at a price far beyond normal modern penny expectations. Of this scenario is rare, extremely rare, but it illustrates how market forces combine: uniqueness, certification, visibility, competition. Now let's shift from extreme rarity back to everyday strategy. If you are searching 2018 D pennies today, your realistic targets are strong double dies, dramatic off-center strikes, broad strikes, major die breaks or cuts, high-grade uncirculated examples, minor die chips, small cracks, and machine doubling will not generate life-changing returns. Understanding this prevents wasted time and unrealistic expectations. Let's also consider survival rate over time. Most 2018 D pennies are circulating. They are exposed to moisture, friction, and handling. Over decades, fewer will remain in pristine red condition. This gradual attrition may increase condition scarcity in the distant future. However, because many rolls were saved by collectors, supply of uncirculated coins may remain sufficient to limit extreme price growth. Now let's talk about discipline in long-form collecting. A serious modern cent collector might examine tens of thousands of coins over several years. They may only submit a small fraction for grading. They track population reports. They monitor auction archives. They calculate average realized prices rather than focusing on outlier sales. This is not gambling. It is calculated probability, and here's something powerful: knowledge compounds. The more coins you examine, the faster you recognize anomalies. The faster you recognize anomalies, the more efficient your searches become. Over time, your success rate improves, not because coins changed, but because your expertise did. Now imagine someone new to coin collecting watching this journey unfold. They begin with a single 2018 D penny. They learn about weight, 2.5 grams. They learn about copper-plated zinc composition. They learn about strike mechanics, die preparation, grading scales, registry competition, and market timing. That one coin becomes a gateway into history, economics, metallurgy, and strategy. That is the hidden value beyond money. The 2018 D penny represents modern minting technology, high-speed presses, precision die engraving, and quality control systems that produce billions of coins with remarkable consistency. When an error escapes that system, it becomes a snapshot of imperfection inside industrial precision, and that imperfection is what collectors chase. Let's close this section with perspective. If you pick up a random 2018 D penny from circulation today, it is almost certainly worth 1 cent. If you find one in bright uncirculated condition, maybe it's worth a small premium. If you discover a dramatic authenticated error or an elite certified high-grade example, it could be worth significantly more. But the true treasure is understanding grading standards, understanding population scarcity, understanding auction behavior, understanding risk versus reward, understanding hype versus verified sales data. The dream of discovering a hidden fortune in pocket change is powerful. It fuels curiosity. It keeps collectors searching through rolls late at night under desk lamps. And while the odds of finding a life-changing coin are extremely small, the process itself builds expertise that can lead to meaningful, realistic gains over time. The 2018 D penny may be small, lightweight, and common. Yet within it lies a complete microcosm of the numismatic world: history, craftsmanship, rarity, competition, and possibility. And even now, somewhere, someone is opening a fresh bankroll of pennies, examining each coin carefully, hoping that among thousands of ordinary cents, one extraordinary example is waiting to be discovered. Now, as we continue even further, we begin to connect everything we've discussed into a deeper understanding of what truly creates big money stories around modern coins like the 2018 D penny. Because by now you understand the grading scale,
the importance of mint state preservation, the role of errors, and the psychology of collectors.
But there is another layer: market narrative. Every valuable coin has a story attached to it. The 2018 D penny by itself is common. Billions were minted. It was produced efficiently at high speed. It entered circulation quietly. Most people never gave it a second glance.
But when one of those pennies becomes certified at an elite grade or displays a dramatic mint error, it transforms from common currency into a conversation piece. Collectors do not just buy metal. They buy stories supported by certification and scarcity. Imagine two coins sitting side by side.
Both are 2018 D pennies.
Both look red and shiny. But one is loose in a flip, while the other is sealed in a professional holder with a certified MS69 red grade and a population count of only a few examples. Suddenly, the perception changes.
One feels ordinary.
The other feels elite. That shift in perception is what creates premium pricing. Now let's explore how advanced collectors evaluate potential long-term appreciation.
They look at three major pillars. First, mintage numbers. With billions struck, general scarcity is low. Second, survival in high grade.
While many were produced, far fewer remain in near-perfect condition. Third, collector demand. Modern Lincoln cents have a large collector base, especially among registry competitors. When high-grade scarcity intersects with strong collector demand, price strength becomes possible. When either element weakens, prices soften. Now let's take a deeper dive into grading subtleties under magnification. Under 10x magnification, the difference between MS67 and MS68 often comes down to microscopic ticks in the field, tiny contact marks from other coins during bagging or transport.
These marks are sometimes invisible to the naked eye. Yet under proper lighting, they determine grade boundaries. The cheek of Abraham Lincoln is the most sensitive grading area on the obverse.
A single noticeable mark in that focal area can prevent a coin from reaching the highest tier. On the reverse, the flat areas of the shield and the banner lettering are key focal points. Professional graders examine not only marks but also luster flow lines, the microscopic radial lines created during striking.
These flow lines produce the cartwheel effect when the coin is tilted under light.
If luster is broken or subdued, grade potential drops. Now let's discuss one more powerful element: eye appeal versus technical grade. Two coins with the same numerical grade can sell for different prices depending on how attractive they look overall. A coin with blazing red color and smooth, even surfaces may bring stronger bids than one with slightly dull toning or uneven coloration. Even if both share the same grade number, advanced collectors sometimes pay premiums for coins that simply look better than the label suggests. Now consider the impact of hype cycles. Occasionally, social media or online videos claim that a modern penny is worth massive amounts, sometimes unrealistic figures like tens of millions or more. These claims create temporary excitement. New collectors rush to search their change. Listings appear online with exaggerated asking prices, but experienced collectors know the difference between hype and documented auction results. Real value is determined by completed sales, not headlines. Understanding this protects you from overpaying and from unrealistic expectations. Let's move into another advanced scenario. Suppose you assemble a complete date and mint set of modern Lincoln Shield cents in certified MS68 or higher grades.
Individually, each coin may not seem extraordinary.
But together, as a matched high-grade registry set, the collection gains competitive value. Registry participants may pay premiums for complete, high-ranking sets rather than individual coins. This demonstrates how value can emerge not only from a single coin's rarity, but from how it fits into a broader competitive framework. Now let's shift to long-term economic context. The production cost of the penny has exceeded its face value for years.
Discussions about eliminating the 1-cent coin appear periodically.
If production eventually stops, the final years of issue may receive renewed collector interest. The 2018 D penny would become part of the late-era circulation history of the denomination. However, speculation must always be balanced with realism.
Discontinuation alone does not guarantee dramatic price increases.
Supply and demand will still govern the market. And now imagine decades ahead, many 2018 D pennies have corroded, been lost, or heavily circulated. High-grade preserved examples become harder to find in original rolls. Certified population data stabilizes. The finest known examples maintain steady demand among specialized collectors. In that future scenario, the small number of elite-grade coins could retain respectable premiums.
Not because they are ancient. Not because they are made of precious metal. But because condition rarity becomes visible over time, this is the long game of modern coin collecting. Now let's talk about discipline one more time. If you are searching rolls, set measurable goals. For example, examine 5,000 coins before submitting any for grading, document potential errors with clear photographs, compare with verified references, calculate grading costs before submission, track population data trends, treat it like a study, not a lottery, because here is the truth: success in modern coin collecting is not built on luck alone. It is built on repetition, observation, patience, and controlled decision-making, and yet, the excitement never disappears. Every time you tilt a coin under the light, there is a moment of possibility. Could this be the one with dramatic doubling? Could this be the near-perfect example that reaches elite grade? Could this be the unexpected strike error that survived quality control? Most of the time, the answer is no, but sometimes, rarely, the answer is yes, and that rare yes is what fuels the entire search. Of the 2018 D penny may never be worth $99,000 million. That figure belongs to imagination, not documented numismatics. But within the realistic boundaries of grading, error rarity, and collector competition, even this modern 1-cent coin can command surprising premiums under the right conditions. It stands as proof that value is not determined solely by age or metal content. Value is shaped by scarcity, preservation, demand, and human perception, and as long as collectors continue to compete, to search, to grade, and to learn, even the smallest coin in your pocket can carry the spark of possibility. If you're ready, we can continue into part 9 and build toward a powerful, dramatic closing segment that ties together history, strategy, realism, and the dream that keeps collectors searching. And now we arrive at the final stage of this long journey, the closing understanding of what the 2018 D penny truly represents, both in reality and in imagination. At the beginning, the idea may have sounded dramatic. A simple 1-cent coin. A modern issue. Something produced by the billions. And yet the question was asked, could it be worth massive money? Could it hold extraordinary value? Could there be something hidden within such an ordinary piece of currency? After everything we've explored, grading science, mint errors, strike quality, registry competition, population scarcity, market psychology, selling strategies, long-term preservation, and realistic auction behavior, the answer becomes clear. Most 2018 D pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. They are copper-plated zinc coins weighing 2.5 grams, struck for everyday commerce, used in transactions, tossed into jars, lost in couch cushions, and rolled by banks. Billions were made. Most will remain common for generations. But within that enormous production number lies a small fraction that are different. A sharply struck coin preserved in near-perfect condition. A dramatic off-center strike that escaped quality control. A strong doubled die with visible separation in the lettering. A certified MS69 red example with a tiny population. A newly discovered variety that registry collectors compete to own. These are the exceptions, and exceptions are where premiums are born of the coin. Market does not reward age alone. It rewards rarity. It rewards condition. It rewards authentication. It rewards demand. When those forces combine, even a modern penny can sell for hundreds or, in rare elite cases, thousands of dollars. But the idea of $99,000 million? That belongs to imagination, not documented numismatic history. No modern Lincoln cent has ever approached anything remotely close to that figure. Understanding that distinction is important. Serious collectors separate verified sales from exaggerated claims, yet here's the deeper truth: the real value of the 2018 D penny journey is not just financial. It's educational. When you study this coin, you learn how minting works, how planchets are prepared, how dies are engraved, how presses strike designs with enormous pressure. You learn how microscopic differences affect grading outcomes. You learn how collector competition shapes pricing. You learn how supply and demand operate even at the smallest monetary level. You begin to see coins differently. A penny is no longer just pocket change. It becomes a miniature work of industrial art. It becomes a case study in economics. It becomes a lesson in patience and observation. Imagine someone opening a fresh bank box of pennies. 2,500 coins waiting to be examined. The process is slow. Most coins look identical. Hours pass. But suddenly, one coin catches the light differently. A small separation in the lettering. A slight off-center alignment. A blazing red surface with almost no marks to eye in that moment, the search feels worth it. That possibility, however rare, is what keeps collectors searching, and here is the final perspective. If you search long enough, you may not find a life-changing fortune in a 2018 D penny. But you will gain expertise. You will sharpen your eye. You will understand markets more deeply. You will develop discipline in evaluation and decision-making, and occasionally, you might find something truly special. The 2018 D penny represents the modern era of the Lincoln Cent series, a continuation of over a century of American coinage tradition. It carries the image of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most recognized figures in American history. It carries the Union shield, symbolizing unity and strength. It carries the legacy of the United States Mint's precision and scale. It also carries the reminder that value is layered. Face value is 1 cent, collector value varies, elite condition value is rare, historical value grows with time, educational value is constant. So the next time you see a 2018 D penny in your change, don't dismiss it instantly. Tilt it under the light. Look closely at the date. Examine the mint mark. Study the surfaces. Most of the time, it will simply be a penny, but every once in a while, it might be more, and that is where the journey of coin collecting truly lies, not in guaranteed riches, but in informed discovery. This completes the full deep exploration of the 2018 D penny, from basic specifications to advanced grading science, from realistic market values to the psychology behind extraordinary auction results. A small coin, a massive production, a tiny chance of rarity, and an endless opportunity to learn.